Absolutely. And Bobby was the one who always had the idea, to, as far as I can remember, of being in a group setting, doing the whole group thing. And his intention was to be the front man, to run the show. When I came in the group and I was the lead singer, and the voice that I had ended up being the one they used on most of the records for the leads and stuff like that. That wasn't something that was sitting well with Bobby throughout the years. He wanted that attention, that front man attention. That was his goal. So I knew it was going to be a matter of time before he was stepping out and trying to do his own thing. Not never with the intention of really leaving the group, but always being able to shine, have his own shine was going to be important to him. Yeah, I knew that was
Now,
going to happen.
when you have people in a group like that and you have a situation like that, there's always some form of shade.
Uh,
What was the shade like then? Like, what kind of shade did you get that made you say, wow, oh man, okay, you feel like that? What kind of things were happening?
we really didn't have, everybody just was a matter of, well, it was times when we, as the records was coming out and all of that, you could start feeling um, the tension when we come off stage. And there was these moments where it was just the crowd would pop, Ralph doing extra screaming and wasn't really paying that type of, they wasn't getting that kind of same love in the live concerts that we would get off stage, and you would feel the tension like that. Man, that show sucked, man. It's like, what you talking about? It was live. You didn't hear all that? They was feeling us. We did the thing tonight. But you could kind of feel the rest of them wasn't feeling that extra fan mail at the management's office when we go visit them, and you could kind of feel that tension in the room, like we got to switch this, because our intention was always to be more like a Temptation, where everybody had a role, everybody came up and sung a part or did something, and that's kind of our talent shows, and some of the things that we would do around the way was structured, where everybody did a song or two during our sets. So when we entered into the studio and started putting out records after Candy Girl, when we got to do an actual album, and it was mostly featuring me on most of the records. That's when a lot of the tension started. You could feel it in the room. Sometimes I would come in the hotel rooms, or I'd be in a hotel room, and they would come back from the mall or come back from some place where they was out, and I didn't even know they was gone. I was like, man, why y'all couldn't hit me up? Be like, you good. You don't need to. What I'm saying? We figured you the superstar over there. You ain't got to worry about how we moving. You got your own thing. So it was kind of, you start feeling that as a little tension, a little shade, if you want to call it that. But overall, it's because the group's outlook on what the group was supposed to be like and represent was everybody had a role, everybody had a part. And slowly we started incorporating that into the group so that it was more of an even split around the board of people and the fans knowing that everybody had a role in what that role was. We had to kind of force that to the forefront so that record companies didn't keep leaving everybody out of that vision, because that was our vision for the group.
Mm-hmm. And that probably being in that situation, you could be at the top of your game, but you probably felt very lonely. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're absolutely right, Scoop. I mean, it was tough early in them days when we're all boys. We're coming out the projects together, and we're on the road together. This is my family. This is my extended family. So I want to be around. I want it to be something where it always felt good, like it felt before we actually started getting some fame and notoriety. You want to stay just like it was because it was fun. Rehearsing, doing the routines together, showing up, going out, hanging out together, and stuff like that became something that we would do as a group. And to see it slowly starting to separate, starting to not be as tight for whatever reasons, you always want to fix that. You always, but I did find myself on the phone telling my mom or grandma or whoever it was, sometimes even the management, like, man, we got to fix this. We got to get everybody some parts. When the rest of them going to be able to sing and do some things on these records, man, because it's not the same vibe that we started with, and it's causing tension in the group. So yeah, it was very lonely. It was a lot of times where I felt isolated and almost like that stepchild, like I was being left out or pushed to the
Mm-hmm.
side.
What is the life of a young kid in a supergroup? You're how old? How old are you? Candy Girl, how old are you?
Now,
No. When Candy Girl came out, how old were
yeah,
you?
yeah, when Candy came out, I was 13, 14 years old. 13 going on 14 when it actually dropped.
What is the life of a 13-year-old with that much fame and that much power? We see it on television, but we never hear
Mhm.
someone tell us about it. What's it like?
It's tough, man. It's one of those things where you're figuring it all out. You don't really know what's happening. You know, you go from being able to walk to the store, go downtown by your, to the arcades with everybody else, to not being able to do that stuff. You hang with your same crew, and people stop you every 5 feet, and it just kind of changes what you can actually do. I found myself not being able to do all the things I used to do. I was very much into just blending in to the world. Like you're saying, like we talking about before, moving around in these different areas. Boston, I used to panhandle and with my boys downtown. We would pop lock with the hats and the coats out there, make a few changes to go to the movies and stuff like that. Um, Help the little league baseball team on the side of the freeways and make money to go buy karate shoes and suits and stuff. It was like I was so used to doing that and having that life where it was a hustle life to not being able to do any of that stuff anymore. And you kind of find yourself not being able to blend in with the cats that you grew up with the same way you used to. So going to kite festivals, different things, and getting chased out of there by hundreds of girls, going to school, getting your hair pulled out. It was just changing in this way where you're just trying to figure out what is really going on with your life. So it could be, it had its ups and its downs. There was times where you felt that popularity was something special and fly, like, oh man, everybody starting to know who I am and moving around. But at the same time, it was like, oh man, everybody's starting to know who I am and
Right.
moving around, hard to move around. You know what I mean? It was starting to turn around. What is that?
Now, life. When you're young, wow, something happened. Whatever. Somebody, maybe something happened. I hope he didn't get shot. Let me just turn that back on. And turn on the comment. Yes, IG hopping all over the place. Yep. Hold on, I'm just waiting to see if he's gonna come back in, because we were just actually about to get into it. He was really dropping some knowledge about what it's like to really be in a group like that. Like, it's crazy. Like, you go from basically, maybe something happened with the connection. You go from basically being a kid to being at the top of the game. Like that shit is crazy. Hold on. Yes, I need to even the hair out. Just leave me alone. I'm gonna get the hair together. Hold on 1 second. Let me just hit somebody and let them know what's going on. Give me 1 second, people. Give me 1 second. I just gotta hit his people. Let them know. If y'all see him come back, let me know. Just give me 1 second. Y'all see him come back, let me know. Let's see here. 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 Hold on 1 second. Yup, I'm here. I'm right here. But something happened, so we just gotta wait and see what happened. Oh, thank you. I'm fine. Thank you very much. In the meantime, while we're waiting for that, while we're waiting for him to come back, let's just talk to a couple of people real quick. And we'll see we'll see if Ralph comes back, if Riz comes back. I'm gonna send an email real quick. Give me 1 second, because I just gotta make sure everything is on point. How are you feeling, sir?
What?
Come on, sir. Sir, what do you have to say?
I can't stand you, bro.
What?
I can't stand.
No, sir. I'm trying to talk to somebody. If you want to come on here, you have to have something to say, sir.
You tell me about what?
I'm
That's
gonna just listen. I'm going to keep it real with you, sir. I'm going to be truthful with you. You look scary right now, man. You are scaring the fuck out of people in here right now. You can't do that, sir. So I don't know what you're doing. If you want to say something, you have to talk and give me something that I can use. Because otherwise, you're scaring the fuck out of people, sir.
Okay, man. Say that again. But that bitch is
No,
talking the
sir.
same.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it with you today, sir. I got Ralph Tresvant that I'm trying to deal with. I cannot do that with you today. Hold on 1 second. Let me just send the email real quick. Hold on 1 second. Hold on, let me just do it. Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second. Let's see here. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, So with that being said, hold on, let me just do that. I don't know what the hell that man's doing. I have no idea what he's doing. I'm just trying to figure it out like everybody else. I don't know what that man's doing. He look crazy. Hold on, let me get Ralph back. Hold on 1 second. He's back here. Give me 1 second. I don't know what that man is doing. He's looking all scary and scaring the hell out of people. I don't know what he's doing. Ralph, here's what I need you to do. Hop out and hop back in so that I can see you one more time. Hop back out and hop back in so I can grab you one more time. Kevin Lee, how are you feeling, sir? Okay, let me see here. Let me see if I can grab him. There he goes. Let me just grab him real quick. So let me see if we can get him back here real quick. Get that moving, get that shaking, get that going. Let's see here. Okay, well, just waiting, people. Hold on. We're waiting for him to come back. Let's see if he comes back real quick. We're just waiting. Instagram is crazy. Like Instagram, I don't know if they don't like me. I don't know what I did to those people up there. Maybe I have to make a phone call and go put a tie on and a suit on and have a meeting with Instagram. But for some reason, anytime something get good, the Wi-Fi go out or Instagram go out or whatever. Hold on 1 second, people. Ralph, you gotta hop out. Oh, there he is. Let me just grab him real quick. See if I can grab him that way. For some reason, it always happens like that. What happened, bro? What happened?
Man, my phone died right in the middle of it, man. I had to go get my. Yeah, it dropped on me. That's what happened.
Okay, cool. All good. So, you know, you were telling us what the life of being a kid in a supergroup is like. You were kind of explaining it to us, and I was saying that, you know, being that you were so big and you were so young and you were so popular, when you go through life, it's a series of firsts when you're that young. First this, first that, first whatever. What are some of the firsts that you experienced being a superstar? What are some of the first things as a child growing into a man that you experienced as a superstar?
Some of the first things was, first of all, you know, being able to take care of your family differently. Like having money not be as much as an issue as it had been all of my life. Because coming up, we always felt like we was a little bit more poor than the other kids. Like me and my sister, man, always felt like we had sneakers, we had jackets, but there was never like the end sneaker. It was always that off brand. Every now and then we could get a fly sneaker, you know. The pro kids and cons days, we was always up on that. But as it started going into the leather shoes, that kind of stuff, you know, food, always on the table. I remember some of those things being the first constants we didn't have to worry about that anymore. So those were the changes those were the positive changes that I remember. My mother not having to work. She used to work for the YMCA and all that stuff. You know, she did housemaid work for hotels and stuff like that. So being able to get out of them situations where she was, you know, you can enjoy life a little bit, you know. I think that was some of the first things that I remember, positive reflections of being out there as an individual. Some of the other things, like I was touching up on, not being able to move around the way you know, I still to this day am one of those guys that like to move around. I don't like to have a big entourage or everywhere I go. I just like to blend in and do normal things. Watching that slow down. But also, again, you know, to keep it more positive is being able to get that first moped that you see everybody got, you know, things like that. I think it was the money side of it that was some of the first real memories where you start feeling like you could take care of yourself better and have some of those things that we weren't privy to have prior to the group. Girls was, you know, that was another thing. Always being able to see the girls look at you as you know, just have that second look at you with. Prior to that, you know, I don't think there was ever a thing where not having a girlfriend was an issue, but just in abundance. It just seemed like, wow, I can't believe all of these ladies, all these little girls out here is feeling me like this, you know. That was a big thing for me, all of us, because that was a part of the success level for us, like the girls, like, man, because that's what we used to do. We wanted to do the choreography in front of the girls at the block parties and stuff like that was what made it fun to us. So watching them actually screaming, chasing you home from school or whatever it might be, that changed. That felt like something that was unique. Family members looking at you differently. You can watch old uncle, cousins, and people that you know They all just saw you as real regular Ralph or regular Bobby and Ricky and them. All of a sudden, that's my nephew right there, baby. You know, being able to have something that was special about their family members or their family. Being had that on their side was always a plus. People always calling me and saying, "Man, my boss down here don't believe you, my nephew, or you don't believe you, my brother, or whatever it is." You know, my coworker. Those things was always fun to experience, and then just going into turning into men. We coming out of being little youngsters, watching, um, just having the ability to move out the projects, step life up for my family with some of the biggest and I guess the most special accolades of being in the group. You know, just watching that change, that transformation from being that project cat that again felt like we was always a little more broken than some of the other kids to pretty much being able to live where you wanted and have what you wanted. That was a big change. It's cool.
Now, did you lose your virginity being part of the group, or you were just doing your thing beforehand?
Hell no, we was we was already doing the 7 minutes in heaven, and we was project kids, man. We was already little project kids. I had already gotten my butt whooped from getting caught, you know, trying to get my yai mean there early, man. It was that was something that was a part of growing up in the
Yo,
bricks. You know?
already killing them, already mowing them down, already knocking them over. But that had to take it to the next level. Were you ever afraid about getting a girl pregnant, or I don't? It wasn't even herpes back then. It was just STDs. Were you ever worried, or you just went through and did your thing?
Once we started becoming popular and famous, it was less and less. It was a little bit less of that and more work. You know, I'm always in the studios, always just always busy. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't a lot of time for that. It was a few run-ins on the road. Every now and then when we had some time in the city or something like that, we run into somebody. We had those moments like that as a group, but or as individuals. But for the most part, it was hustle, hustle, hustle. It became a point in time with for us, it was 6 o'clock in the morning till 11:30 at night. We was just doing one errand to the next errand to the next errand to the next errand to afterwards doing late clubs. It was just a point in time where it was so much work that became secondary. And you know, and eventually you find yourself just chilling with who you with, you know what I'm saying? And from time to time being able to fly that person in. Like my childhood sweetheart was my girl for years. So she would fly in or get on the bus and roll with us from time to time. And that's how we fulfill that side of things, opposed to finding something new in every city and all that kind of stuff. It was just too much going on at the time to really have that as a part of the daily routine, you know.
Now, you guys were huge because I remember I may have been the same age or coming up, so I watched it on television. You guys were huge, and then at that time I don't remember like a white boy band. The only group I remember is like Menudo. I
Right.
always remember like Menudo was like the Latino version of New Edition.
Yep.
Was there any group that you would consider your rivals? People that you had a rivalry with personally and professionally?
Personally, we really didn't have any, but professionally, it just seemed like that was probably it. Menudo was one of those groups that we would run into all the time, and I really didn't know much of them until they did the TV show where I saw them on there coming in with the Cato Rock, and they was doing a little, you know, that's when I first got a glimpse of, okay, that's what Menudo is. But prior to that, I would run into them. I remember one time we was getting on a plane to fly somewhere, and Menudo was on the plane, and they had the entire first class booked out just for them, the management, and whoever else was with them at the time. And we in the back looking up front, and these guys got their shirts off. They got their shoes off, walking around with just jeans and shirts on in the plane. And it was just like, how big is this?
How can you have your shirt off in first class?
They had the whole thing booked out. They was the only one. They had bought it out where there was no other passengers on there except for Menudo and their entourage or whoever they had with them. So we're getting there and coming to the back. They're already on the plane. And as we walking by, we could see him up in there, you know, throwing footballs. And they was just like they owned like it was a private jet or something. So I was like, how big are you? You can just you can just take over the whole front, buy out the first class. Next time I ran into him, and this again, I'm looking at this as aspiration. Okay, we got work to do. And then we were in New York, and we were going somewhere down in New York. I don't forgot what we were doing, but it wasn't about a show then. We were just probably doing promotion, going to visit radio stations or something. What was going on? It was nighttime, and we were near Madison Square Garden, but you couldn't go into Madison Square Garden for 2 blocks for the whole radius, the circumference of the building. You couldn't go in; it was blocked off. I was like, "Well, what's going on in there?" That's Menudo. Menudo's up in there, and I'm like, "What? How big are you? Where you got the whole Madison Square Garden roped off with police for 2 blocks surrounding the building?" That's like, we got work to do. So that always became like my idea of where we need to go or where we're trying to go for our times. We had already been our aspiration was to be like the Jacksons, but we had never been able to interact that way with seeing them in first class or just keep having these run-ins with them where the level of how they was doing it versus how we was doing it was so much bigger. And so every time I saw or interacted or felt something that was coming from them, it was always on that level. It was so much higher than we were doing it at the time that became like who I looked at as a rival. And it was more business wise. It was more that, okay, we got to get to that level before we can really consider ourselves doing anything in this game. Because they were at a level that I had never seen anybody at in my life.
Now you're sitting back there, because I know how it is. I've been in that situation before where I've been on a flight and there was somebody who was my contemporary and they were in business class and I had to go in the back. And I was feeling kind of tight about that. Did you guys say anything to them? Did anybody say anything too fast, too slick to them? Did y'all have any words, anything, or you just kind of ate that?
And not that I remember. It could have, Bobby might have said so. Somebody else might have said something in the group, but I didn't. I don't remember that. I just remember all of us just kind of having these inside conversations. Like, damn, that's huge. They just buying out the whole first class like that, man, and got to push everybody else to the back. Regardless if you had the money to get a ticket up there or not, on that flight, you wasn't gonna buy one because they had bought it out.
Right, you wasn't getting it. So now you guys blow up, you're doing your thing, you're huge at a high level, right? When do you start to notice that things are not right and things are gonna have to change and people are gonna have to leave? What do you remember a time that you started saying, wait up, hold on, there may have to be a change?
The first one was right after the Candy Girl album. It was relatively early, man. The first time when we started realizing, well, the Candy Girl album we never got paid for from the album itself. The Streetwise label claimed bankruptcy and jumped out the scene. So that was something we never even was able to go after them and do anything about it because they jumped out. But we were still living in the projects. We was coming off of these tours. We came off of a tour that we had been out almost damn near a year, just running around the country with our first band, us and the band, Maurice Starr, everybody's on the same bus. It was tight, but we made the run and we came back and the bus dropped us off right back in the projects. And the man that was handling the road management at the time handed our, I think it was either Travis Gresham or Brooke Payne or both of them, a check for $1.87. And that's when we knew it was true. We got 187 on our first tour. Yeah.
And even at that time, you guys must have been doing gigs that had 2,000-3,000 people in it. Even on the low end back then, you probably were a $20,000-$25,000 act. Do you guys start to say, wait up, hold on, we're gonna go at somebody. We need to get violent with somebody. This is a problem. Was there any of that going through your mind, or did you just accept it?
Now the parents came hard body. The first management, they was the ones that really stepped up. The parents, especially the mothers. The mothers went ballistic after that run. When they came back and handed us a check, it was a check at that. You got to bust this check. You got to spend money to bust a check. So it was going to be less than $1.87, but it literally gave us a check for $1.87. The parents went ballistic. This is the first time we didn't know that was about to happen. So before we even got a chance to understand, well, where's our money from the tour? Like, we ready to go out here and get new clothes, some new bikes, whatever it was that we want to spend some of our money. there was no money to spend, and our parents was already in the uproar. It was coming at the management at that time was Travis Gresham and Brooke Payne. It was that at that point became not just our manager, I mean our choreographer, but became co-manager with Travis. And the two of them, that's when they got fired. They got dropped. The record company got dropped. We was on a mission to find another situation, and that's how we ended over at MCA Records, thinking this is going to be the change. They gave us a little bit of change for the record, for the next album. That was the Cool It Now album with all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff on it. So we started making the move over this, hoping that we can rectify what was going on. There was really nobody to go at outside of that. You know, we left Maurice Starr, we left Brooke Payne, and Travis Gresham, who was actually our manager, and brought Brooke in eventually as a co-manager. And Maurice Starr, we left that crew and started up with a new crew of cast, Jump and Shoot Productions. That was the management crew, and we got with them guys.
Was that was Steve Rifkin?
Steve, no, that was Steve Mashat, Bill Dern, and Rick. I can't remember Rick's last name, but it was Rick, Bill, and Steve Mashat, whose father owned Sky. You know, they was doing real well. They had some other artists out there, downtown skyscrapers in New York. That's where we used to go to, you know, do some of the rehearsal. That's where our fan mail would go and stuff like that. But that was the team that came in after the Candy Girl album to move us over to MCA Records.
Okay, so
And then
I'm just thinking about it in chronology as I'm watching the BT special. Matter of fact, how accurate was the BT special? Because I have to ask somebody who actually lived it. Were you actually happy with the way that they portrayed it, how they told the story? What were your thoughts on that?
I think they got most of it in. A lot of the stories, they like certain people, because of the amount of actors and the amount of people they would have had to bring in to play all these different roles. A lot of what was going on and subjects and things that we wanted to address had to be co-addressed through one person or two people. You know, two or three people would be playing out stuff that took place with several different people. So some of the stuff that happened with Bill Dern, some of the stuff that was going down with Brooke Payne, his character took on a lot of other people's what had happened to the group through his character in that movie. So from that, I wish we could have been able to tell it a little bit more true to everything everybody did and who did what. But some people was gone, couldn't get permission to do certain stuff. Other people, it just would have been too. It already cost a bunch of money to do that story, but to be able to do it that way would have been
Much more.
astronomical.
Was
Yeah, we would
was
have.
the shooting was the shooting part real? Was the shooting part real, or was that just a dramatization and you just kind of make it
No,
to movie it up?
that pretty much took place. I don't know if it was exactly verbatim when they had to kind of reenact it in slightly different ways, but yeah, that took place backstage on the Home Again tour when we was getting ready to go. When we was one of them cities we got in, it was just at an all-time kind of. The tension was just crazy out there amongst all these people having different crews. We all had our own buses and teams out there with us, and they kind of clashed at some point with some of the people who Al Heyman had brought in to secure the buildings for him and all that kind of, pick up his dough and all that kind of. It kind of was a combination of all these different camps that eventually, that's what went down. Gunshots rang out at one of them shows. It was a real thing.
One of the things that I remember is that years ago, Suge Knight was Bobby Brown's security. Do you remember him from being Bobby Brown's security? What are your memories of that?
Absolutely. I remember the days when he was doing that. He was helping with luggage and all kind of stuff back in the days, man. He was that was a real thing. He came up quick, but I remember those days when he used to run around as the security. At one point, he was just a cat that was just trying to do whatever needed to be done as far as getting when we got to a city, making sure that the stuff got off the bus securely and all that stuff, and then became security, and then went on to do all the stuff that he ended up doing later on.
Did
Yeah.
you see him back? You know, because eventually in the mid and late '90s, he became a very menacing figure. Did you see him as that? Was he like that from the beginning, or is that something that just came along later?
I think he was always like that. I think he always had this air about him that felt like, you know, you didn't want to play with him, you didn't want to mess with him. I think he always kind of had that air with him. But his the guy that brought him in that I was introduced to him through was Wes Crockett, rest in heaven. Wes was he was the cat that was considered his little brother. You know, Suge was his little brother, so he was around us at all times. And Wes always looked out for me on a security level. Al Heyman was who he used to protect. He used to protect Al Heyman. And the level that he was on the street level, as far as a warrior and soldier, is why he was hired. Wes was the real deal. Rest in heaven. He passed not long ago, but he's the one who brought Suge in to the camp and into the family back then. As far as my recollection is, because he was always introduced as Wes's little brother.
Okay, and he was the one who was holding Bobby Brown down, and just, you know, you saw him and you definitely knew that he just wasn't somebody to play with. So when you saw the death row and you saw all of that, and then you saw all of, like, you know, the rumors and the stories, when you saw that, you said, makes sense, or you were like, nah, I didn't see dude acting like that.
100% made sense. 100% made sense that's where he could go with it if he wanted to go there. Yeah, he was not to be played with from way back in the days. That's why, you know, West wasn't to be played with. And if he was coming up under that whole camp and that family, I already know what that was for sure.
You wasn't playing. You definitely wasn't playing. So now you go off. Bobby Brown leaves. You go off. You guys get Johnny Gill. Whose idea is it to get Johnny Gill? And people, just in case you don't know Johnny Gill, you need to go Google who Johnny Gill is. And people, you know, you may call him Johnny Gill, but black people call him Johnny Gill. So how'd you wind up dealing with Johnny Gill?
Well, we knew Johnny for years. Throughout, well, you know, we were running into him in different gigs that we were playing. I remember running into him for the first time in St. Thomas. We did something called the Hal Jackson's Talented Teens over there in St. Thomas, and Johnny was on that bill. A bunch of artists was on that bill, and I remember running into him then and hearing him perform, just being blown away with this little guy that was our size and our age that had this grown man voice. We got close with him back then. We're talking throughout the years. After that, we would bump into each other in the States in different shows. So later on, when I first started having my first thing where I wanted to put together a project for myself, I think that hit the group the wrong way, you know, where they thought it was about me leaving and all this other stuff, and it never was. You know, it was already known and told, and it was just about me exercising, being able to write records. I was a producer. I was getting into that side of the game, and I was demoing my own records, singing them myself, played them for the group, played them for everybody so they could feel what was on, whether we was going to use them as a group or whether it was going to be a project for myself, how it was going to go down. I was trying to develop in other areas instead of just being a singer. And I think when I was doing that, the group started feeling some type of way, like he's getting ready to bounce. He's getting ready to do his own thing. This is getting ready to be crazy. What we going to do? And they reached out to Johnny. They reached out to Johnny to come into the group. At that time was to replace me. Bobby had already left.
Right.
And he was doing his own thing. Bobby had already left. He was doing his own thing. And they were kind of feeling some kind of way that I might be leaving too, which was never the case. And that's real talk, because I would tell you. But that's how they was feeling. So I got a call one day from Gerald Busby, who was the president over at MCA Records at the time. And he said, "What's going on, man?" I said, "What's going on?" He said, "I don't need a new edition without Ralph Tresvant." I said, "What are you talking about? I'm not going nowhere." He said, "Well, the group just left out of here, man. They got Johnny Gill and stuff." I was like, "What?" You know, that hit me like, what the hell's going on? So long story short, he wanted me to do another album. He said, "Well, if you're going to do something else, man, just give me one more as with the new edition at least before we start branching down that avenue with you. And I promise you, I'll make sure that we get that done, and we'll do that. But I need another NE album, and I need you to be a part of it. We're bringing in Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis and da-da-da-da." So I said, okay. All of those things was exciting to me. And so I went down to Minneapolis, still not understanding anything about what was popping with Johnny, except for what Gerald had told me. And when I got there, Johnny was there. And, you know, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, they could sense something was wrong. So they sat us in a room one day and was like, what's going on, man? You know, this tension is too thick. We can cut it with a knife. And so got into it. Well, I tell you what's wrong. I didn't know we was supposed to be bringing somebody else in. I didn't know Johnny was supposed to be here and this, that, and the other. And it went down like that. We got through all of that, got through the room. They was basically, you didn't tell Ralph you had a new singer, you had another member. He didn't know about this, and Johnny was on the other side with his eyes wide open. Y'all didn't tell this brother? Like, y'all just bringing me into this mess like this, and y'all ain't mentioned nothing to to this man. So we got past all of that. Me and Johnny got to the room one day, and pretty much that's like the movies, like it was in the NE story. We got to the room later on that night or sometime that week, maybe a couple days later or so. We sat down with each other and we was talking. And he asked me, he said, what have I got myself into, man? I said, welcome to New Edition, man, basically. And ever since then, man, Johnny been cool as ice. We've been real cool. Yeah.
Now, when you hear this, you get the call from Joe Busby, and you hear that news. Obviously, you're angry. Who is the first person? Because back then, you couldn't just pick up a cell phone. You got to run somewhere and pick up a phone or whatever. Who's the first person that you call and approach about that? Who's the first person that because obviously you're hot. Who's the first person you come to?
I called the producers that I was working with on the solo project. Like, man, let's go hard body. Let's put it together. Let's put our own money behind it. Let's get this, and then we was bringing in Cornell Brown, bringing in people who owned skyscrapers in Massachusetts. It's like, they was ready to roll a bank. They was ready to put the Brinks truck up to the project and make it happen. So I went there with it. I wouldn't just channeled all of that to, okay, that's how y'all want to do me. I'm going to go out here and make sure I carve my avenue as an individual so that I don't have to worry about whatever goes down on there. I figured it was going to come back around because when I heard Joe say what he had to say, it was real. It's like, this is what's going on. This is how we put these New Edition records together. We're not just shelving that and trying some new thing. I don't want to put the money behind that, and most people wouldn't have. So I said, well, what I'm going to do is get at some time, and let me call my mans and them up, and let's put this project together. This time it was for real. That wasn't my intention, but this time it was like, I want to go out here and do my own thing, carve my own lane before I don't know what these guys might do down in the future. So let me get my stuff together. So that was my first. The next thing was, I didn't even touch bases with them. I showed up in Minneapolis with my producer, with the cat. We was going to continue working on it while I was down there doing the New Edition album anyways. In between their sessions, I was going to go finish my project up. It's called Living in a Dream. So I was getting ready to finish that project up while working on the Heartbreak album. And that's when I was able to, when we got in the room with Jimmy and them, that's when we confronted that whole situation about Johnny. It was already kind of like a standoff thing where everybody's in there, but not really. There's no camaraderie going on. Everybody could tell something was going on. So it had to be addressed. And at that point, it was with all of them. Let's all sit down and figure out what's popping, man. What y'all doing? Y'all gonna bring somebody in? And my thing at the time was nobody coming back in the group. If anybody's coming in the group, we bringing Bobby back. And that was my take on that in that room. And if not, then we just gonna move with the four of us. But as time went on, and it was nothing ever against Johnny. I always loved him as a person, and as a person that, in passing by, I always felt good when I met him. It was there was nothing, no bad blood between us at all. It was the way that they was trying to bring him into it that just kind of sat him in that position where he had to feel that kind of ride from me. And it was unfair to him and me at the same time, So we just cleared it up, became boys. We finished that project up. In the meantime, they're all working on starting their own thing. At that point, DVD's forming, Bobby's out there. Johnny was working on this project before he even got in the group. And so I had to go back in the lab and say, well, let me put another project together, because at that point, some of the swing, some of the stuff that I was doing as an artist was starting to saturate. It wasn't as unique anymore to me. Like Teddy was dropping, Bobby was dropping, and just the other artists was dropping with the vibe that I was on at the time, pretty much. And so it wasn't as unique as it was feeling to me as I was working on it originally. If I'd have dropped it when I was getting ready to drop it, I would have been the only one with that flavor at the time. And by the time I got back to it, it was already being saturated around the world. So my thing was to come up with something unique, something different from what that was. And that's where the Sensitivity album came about.
And you did that. You guys did the thing, and of course everything wound up. And with brothers fight. I'm sure y'all had fist fights. I'm sure y'all had all kinds of things happen throughout your career. But as brothers, you eventually come back. So now you do that, you're doing that, now we're going on to you. You do your
Yeah.
thing, you're killing that, everything, you guys go back on the road, whatever. Now you're off doing your own thing now. So let's talk about that. New song, All Minds with Johnny Gill. Tell me about it.
The song was a song that was sent to Johnny. It was actually supposed to be something that was submitted for his project. And when he heard the joint, he was like, "Man, it sound like Ralph, sound like my brother." So he hit me up and told me he had something he wanted me to hear. So he sent it to me, and I immediately got what he was talking about. I don't think that was a song that was up his alley. You know what I'm saying? As a vocalist, it was more in my realm and my, down what I've been doing. And so he sent it to me. I went to his crib. I cut the joint. Then about 4 or 5 days later, he sent it back to me with a rough mix and him on it, and it just sounded like a continuation of the song "Perfect" that we had just did for his album.
Mm-hmm.
And that it went out there, and it won. It did its thing. You know, a lot of people like that record, and so I wanted to springboard off of that vibe that we already had going. It's like why kill this vibe while people are feeling me and you as a combo right now? Let's go on and drop this one. And when I heard him with it on, it just felt like that magic. But something about when me and Johnny's textures meet and they're on the right record, done the right way, it just feels special to me. It feels unique. It feels like you don't hear this all the time. And we bring two worlds together that normally his audience wouldn't normally listen for a record from me and vice versa. So when we come and bring them together, we merge these fan bases together in a way that it just seems to work. It has a special place. So my thing was we just came off of his song featuring me. Let's reverse that. Well, we have a record now that reverses that same vibe, and it sounds pretty good too. So, not to chase the youthfulness, but have a classiness to it. Something that had a classic sound to it, but still relevant. Had a feel where it still be relevant without chasing, trying to be new and keep up with what's going on right now too much. I thought the song did all those things, so that's why we dropped it, man.
Do you feel like you have to chase what the young kids do, or you feel like, you know something, I have my own thing, I'm gonna stay in my lane and do me?
I think I have my own thing, man. I always feel like there's enough New Edition / Ralph Tresvant fans to just service them what they like. You know what I mean? I don't have to overthink it. There's something about the sonicness and coming with the right sounds and things now that this kind of changed from back then. So you got to make sure that blend is right. Yeah, the mix and the quality and the difference in the just the sounds that's used to produce records nowadays. I think in order to give it a chance to be played at radio today and not be taken as too old and too dated so that nobody wants to spin it for you, you got to take that into consideration. But the actual approach, the topics, and the the classicness of the songs don't have to change. I don't have to try to be in the club or try to overthink making sure it's beating the Jeeps up too much, you know, and all that kind of stuff. I don't have to overthink. I have to have a featured rapper on it to be relevant. And I don't have to overthink that way because there's a base that they just like what we've been doing and they want to hear more of that. It's like for me when I listen to Charlie Wilson or somebody like that. I just want to hear another Yearning for Your Heart or some Humping or something. You know, I want to hear what he's been doing from him. I don't over expect him to try to do something that Chris Brown would be doing nowadays, or you know, it's not necessary for him to sell records to his fan base. So, and me being a huge fan, that's how I feel about it. So, coming from my own perspective, I take the same approach. Say, you know, I think my fans and my fan base want to hear just what I've been doing, so I don't have to overthink it.
All right, tell everybody where they can get that single. If they want to go get it, they want to stream it, they want to hear it, where do they go?
It's everywhere, man. On all the video, all the streaming, social media platforms, man. It's pretty much no way you can't find it right now. You opened it up to everywhere. So whether it's iTunes, whether it's Spotify, whether it's, you know, you want to stream the video, it's everywhere from Vivo, YouTube, Rolling Stone. You know, we got it on all the platforms, man. We're giving it a good shot at winning. So it's not hard to find it. Just type in the name, Ralph Tresvant, All Mine, featuring Johnny Gill, and you should be able to find it. It shouldn't be hard.
Final question.
Yep.
In all the years of New Edition, in all the places you've gone, and all the people you've met, who has been the biggest person, superstar, entity that you've ever met, and what happened?
It would have to be Michael Jackson, man. Just coming from being that little boy at home, listening to Little Mike as a Jackson 5, and just being an admirer of his work throughout the years. And to me, there's nobody, and to a lot of us, there's nobody that's done it greater than Mike, you know? And being able to go to his house and hang with him, play with him, and his mess around with his llama and his snakes, and you know, it was just one of those experiences. I saw Thriller before the world was able to see Thriller. He played it for us in his theater, along with Feel and all these other videos. But he topped it off with Billie Jean, Beat It, and then he debuted Thriller for us, man, at his crib. And then Janet and Latoya's walking around looking fine and all that stuff, man. You know, it was just one of those moments that felt surreal.
Wait up, hold on. Now you're there. And Janet and Latoya are walking around. You say, wait up, hold on. I'm Rob Tresvant. Hello. What's popping with me? Or did Mike say, listen, that's my sister? Like,
oh no, it was up, man. I was up in the room, chilling by myself with Janet, all that. I was moving around the crib, man, while he was, you know, messing with Bobby or whoever else. And supposedly Bobby taught him how to do the moonwalk that day or something like that, or showed him some of those moves. I didn't see it. I wasn't there to witness that, but I do remember him saying, yo, what's that move you guys are doing in the video? I mean, I remember him being interested in that. He loved the Is This the End video, and he loved what we was doing. He pretty much was, you know, showing love for what we did. But we were moving all around the crib, man, you know, and I remember moving off into one of the rooms, just trying to get to know Janet. You know, it was one of those things. I had ran into her a few times on the road doing shows with her. She was doing the Young Love thing and all of that, and I was on the same bill. New Edition was on the same bill as her then, and my grandmother was one of the times my grandmother, because they would switch chaperones with us. One of the parents would go out. My grandmother went out with us one time, and she was trying to push the whole thing with me and Janet.
well, did you
And I
try
had,
to
you know,
holler at her? Was you like were you in her face? What you
yeah, I
doing?
was, man. My intentions then was to try to see what I could do, if there's any chemistry, something going on. But well, our role manager that by the time we was at the crib was Rick Roberts. So he came looking around, and he just blocked the whole situation, man. You got to come down here with the rest of the fellas and da 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 da. So, you know, I never got a chance to really see what that could be.
So you basically were cock blocked out of being with Janet Jackson.
Probably, man. You know, she seemed like she was interested. She was showing me the room. She was like, "Come on up here with me," and this, then I'm rolling like, "Yeah, look, what's up in here?" I don't know what was gonna happen. She was just trying to be friendly, I think. And open up the door. She was trying to open up the
You were
door, and
cock
I was
blocked.
trying to walk
Can I
through.
go see that man? Can I go talk to him? Is there any conversation? I need to talk to him.
Please do, Scoop. Get him, man. Come on, man. You gotta rectify that.
Bro, you were so close, man. You were so close, man. I want to thank you for coming through, man. I love you. If there's anything I can do for you, you know I'm here. You need that remix, come see me, bro.
I love what you're doing over there, bro. Keep doing your thing too. I'm a big fan. I'm watching it. Now I got all of the stuff. I done followed everything now that you're doing. So I'm always gonna be up. I got notifications coming from you. So as you're doing new stuff, I can be up on it, man.
Thank
But
you.
I appreciate it. And I will. I will reach out, man. I know you got that heat. So I'll be reaching out.
I'm here for you, bro. I'm here for you.
Thank
Oh, just imagine remix that's coming your way, bro. Let's get it.
you. No
Be safe,
doubt.
bro.
Nobody does it like you, bro.
Be safe, brother. Love you, man. Be safe.
You too,
That's
man.
Ralph Tresvant right there. What a hell of a man, man. What a hell of a career. There's nothing else to be said, man. I mean, I'm in a place right now. I'm in a place. I feel like this man was cock blocked out of greatness. And listen, that wasn't Janet Jackson. Now that was big booty Janet Jackson. Shit, man. That was before Jermaine Dupri, Janet Jackson. That was Janet Jackson. Now there could have been a couple of different things with that. Perhaps Michael Jackson told that man to cock block him, but I don't know. We can't go to Mike. We can't do anything. I now have a sense of frustration. I'm very tight right now, and I'm not even the man that could have knocked her down. I'm just an innocent bystander, and now I'm saying, cock blocking is some of the worst parts of the Bible. So is there anything that people want to say about that interview? Anybody want to add anything? You can say whatever you want now. I'm going to go to you really, really quickly. There's something that I'm going to do. I'm going to go to one person, and we're going to come back and do one thing, and then we're going to get right back to what we're doing. Let me see here. I am waiting for someone to hop in here right now. Waiting for somebody to hop in. All right, so let me see. While we wait for my next guest, we will go right to the Joe Jackson would have had none of that. Listen, let me explain something to you, okay? This belt, I can only imagine this belt in the hands of Joe Jackson. I don't know if Joe Jackson would have, I don't know, you know, listen, you know, I all I knew is that I didn't want, once I saw the first thing with the Jackson 5, I knew that I didn't want no part of Joe Jackson in anything. I just wanted to leave Joe Jackson alone and let him go in his own house and do whatever the hell he wanted to do. If Joe Jackson wanted to do whatever he wanted to do whatever you want to do. I just don't want no part of it. Yes, he was. He was very honest about what he was talking about. He had a lot of gems to drop. I'm trying to get, for some reason, my Instagram, it won't allow me to go live with people. I'm glad he cleared up the moonwalk rumor. Yeah, I had heard that. I heard that they said that Bobby had said that on Fat Joe. I will get to Bobby and I'll ask him. I'll be like, yo, bro, you telling me you taught Michael Jackson how to moonwalk? Did he teach your ass anything? Janet Jackson is more discreet than that. Joe was taking a shit in the bathroom. He didn't know what was going on. Let me explain something to you about Joe Jackson. I didn't know the man from a can of paint. I saw him one time, but I can tell you one thing about Joe Jackson. He saw everything, and he knew everything. And he knew all them kids, and he knew what the fuck those kids were doing down to Tito's punk ass, okay? He knew what he was doing with all them damn kids. Hold on one second. Let me see here. Let me see. Well, Bobby Brown got her later on. Listen, we don't know if Bobby Brown got her later on. Is that a rumor or is that a fact? Because if it's a rumor, I'll be like, yo, Bobby Brown, man, listen. Did you knock her down? Did you take her down? Did you lay her down? Did you take care of business? Did you spank her? Well, I'll ask him everything. I don't care. Ralph is very transparent. It was a very transparent and real interview. And that's how I like it. You know, when I interview somebody, I don't look at it as an interview. I look at it as a conversation. Two people talking about things and kind of just shooting the breeze. And that's the way that I like my interviews to go. Hold on one second. Supposedly Jeffrey Daniels taught Michael Jackson how to moonwalk. Well, we can't even find out now. We don't even know. We don't know who to go to now. We don't know who to ask. I will ask Bobby Brown. I'm working on having Bobby Brown come in. So let's see what happens. Rough Rider Shabazz, he said it. So I don't know what he said. Facts are all facts. Let me find out. Janet was trying to smash the homies. Listen. These niggas were powerful. These guys were powerful. You don't think, listen, the man was at the top of his game. See, when you at the top of your game and somebody's at the top of their game, it happens. I had a conversation. I'm not going to tell you who it was. And by the way, people, if you're new to the show, please do me a favor and follow me. Every single day we have someone else come in and we do a one-on-one interview with them. Saturday is going to be Method Man. So that'll be a good one. And then next week is Master P and God willing, Michael Vick, and a bunch of different people. So all I want you to do, follow me, and every day when I put my flyer out and I tell you who's going to be in for the day, you'll get the notification and you'll be in there like that. Bobby kicked her out the hotel. No, listen. We're gonna get down to the bottom of it, okay? No, we're not confusing Janet with Superhead. That's something completely different. Okay, don't come with that. Come on, don't come with that nonsense. Hold on one second. For some reason, it's not allowing me. Black Honey, hold on one second. My Instagram is not allowing me to bring people in. I don't know what's happening. This is what I'm talking about. Instagram is funny like that. You let people breathe, which is rare with celebrity interviews. Sometimes as an interviewer, I have done that a lot. And I'll give somebody credit for that. I'll tell you who I give credit for that. I give my girlfriend, Madeline Brene, the credit for that, right? I used to always talk over her and, you know, just speak all over her, you know. And she used to be like, listen, you can't be in here talking over me. I'm not even getting a chance to say nothing. Like, I ain't getting a chance to say shit. And in order to learn how to deal with her, I had to learn how to stop talking over people. And I still do sometimes, but she made me better with that. That's the one thing that she did do that made me better, really better. And I'll give her that. Regardless of what's going on, I'll give her that. She definitely made me better when it comes to that. I am trying to get Black Honey Boutique on. Hold on, people. For some reason, it won't let me go in. It won't let me go in. What I'm gonna do? Hold on one second. Here's what I'll do. While I'm trying to fix this, while I'm trying to fix this, I'll do something. So we were talking. Pharmacy Black was talking about. They were talking about CMOS and all that kind of stuff like that. While I try to fix this, or I wait for it to kind of regenerate, I'll show you what I do. By the way, that's my video paint right there. So if you don't know what's going on upstairs, I'm getting my upstairs together. I'm going to paint a green screen so that I can have logos and all kinds of things behind me. So when you see me doing my thing, you'll understand. With that being said, I told y'all guys that what I do is I heavily believe in juicing. I heavily believe in like being healthy and stuff like that. So Black Honey Boutique, if I cannot get this Instagram to open, I'll just call you after I get off and we'll figure out what to do. I want you to come on because I love your soaps. Black Honey Boutique people, if she doesn't come on today and I can't fix this, I'll have her on tomorrow. She has dope soaps. She has dope the soaps, the tinctures, and all that stuff. I believe in health, and I believe in things that are good for you spiritually, and Black Honey Boutique has that. Now, what I was going to say is this. Hold on one second. Hold on. These people with their personal shit. Don't y'all understand I'm doing a damn show? Hold on one second. These people don't care about nothing. Hold on one second. Who the hell this was? Well, hold on, let me see. Hold on one second. Hold on, just give me a second. And you know something? It's so raggedy. Why do I have to be so raggedy? Yeah, okay, what do I gotta do? Tell me what I have to do, sir. Swipe up. Go into the home screen. It's not letting me do that shit. So hold on. Yeah, I'm on my iPad. Well, hold on, let me just do this and I'll call you. I'm not dealing with you, sir. Give me a minute, I'll be back. I don't even want to see your face. I'm hanging up. You go, sir. I'll talk to you later. People, like I was saying, and Black Honey Boutique, hold on, man. Just hold on, Black Honey. I'm going to try to figure out how to do this. My man told me to let it regenerate, let it refresh, let it chill for a couple of minutes. I believe in CMOS. I believe in natural herbs and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to walk you through, while I'm waiting for this to get fixed, I'm going to walk you through what I do every day. So y'all understand what I do. First things first, you need to rock with this juicer. If you don't have a juicer in your house, you're doing the wrong thing. This one right here is a brother. This is a brother juicer right here. This is if you could go right, you could go right to home. You could go right to Bed Bath and Beyond. Get yourself a brother juicer. It's the best juicer on. It's the best juicer in the market. Period. Right. So boom. What you gotta do is set it up. Boom. Throw that on there. Like that. Boom. I'm gonna just walk off through it while I'm waiting for this to regenerate. Then you go to Costco or wherever, and you can get these little bags like this. They simple. They don't cost that much. By the way, this is CMOS right here. This is CMOS. This makes Just a little half of this will make a whole lot of sea moss. But that's another story. So boom, you get that. Right here, I got a whole way that I do this. So I'm gonna run it through. You take this, boom. You open it up, because this is where the mulch from the fruits and vegetables is gonna go. So you can just throw it in the garbage. Hold on one second. Throw that in there like that, people. Just rock with it. Just rock with it. It's gonna take a couple of minutes, but you need to see this. You see how easy this is to put this together in your own crib. Boom. You take this right there, right? So now you go and get your stuff. You get an apple. You get a couple of pieces of ginger, right? 1 second. You get a lemon, right? Boom. Don't laugh at my stuff. Get it? Boom. Put it down here. I don't even give a damn. Sometimes the sticky thing is on there. If I forget about it, fuck it. I have paper in my juice. I have fucking apple and paper juice. I don't give a fuck. So hold on. Let me just show you guys so you understand what's going on. Boom, you grab that. Get yourself some parsley. And you should keep the parsley. You should keep the parsley in the refrigerator because it gets messed up. This right here is sea moss right here. This is sea moss. Right here, sea moss. That's what sea moss looks like when it's refrigerated. The one that I deal with, my man Alkaline Dre, who hooks me up, he washes it in a certain way, and you don't taste anything. Boom, it's good. So you take that, take a little bit of parsley, take a nice little piece of parsley like that. Get yourself a cucumber too. Cucumbers are real good. Get yourself a cucumber, right? Grab yourself a cucumber, bam. Break that joint in half. Just break it like that. Boom. Throw that in there. Right? Hold on. You get a knife. Tiana, I don't know where the hell Tiana put the knife. I'm going to have to cut this with a butter knife. It is what it is. It's going to be terrible. This right here. I don't know how I'm going to cut this with a butter knife, but it is what it is. Shit. This ain't even a butter knife. This is like a plastic knife you get when you're in jail. Or when you get at a picnic, it's fucking terrible. Hold on. Ah, shit. Fuck. Okay, so I finally cut it, boom, whatever. So you grab all that stuff, and you just turn the machine on, boom. You like that, throw that part in, like that, throw that part in, just like this. Boom. Ginger is going to burn. That ginger is going to burn, but you got to get used to that ginger. It is what it is. So then you take this, you go like that. Make sure you put it in there like that. I'll get back to the show in a minute. And you got this now, right? I got this, which is my blender, right? This is my blender right here. Boom. Throw that on there like that. Now, here's where I get black seed oil. Boom. I take some of that right there, throw it in there like that. Now, this right here is some shit now. This is called intestinal cleaner. So you know you're going to blow up the bathroom. It is what it is, as they say in the ghetto. Take yourself a little bit of intestinal cleaner, throw that in there like that. Then I take a couple of spoonfuls of sea moss and I throw them in there. I like sea moss. It ain't no problem. It don't taste like nothing. Then you grab this, do like that. Boom. Now you just mix it up. Make sure you mix it up good in here. Rock out with just mix it up. Let it mix. Let it just mix. Let it marinate, because you gotta make sure that you break down that sea moss. You gotta break down that sea moss, right? Let it rock like that. I just let it spin. I'm working the hell out of this machine. You're 100% right. So boom, there you go. And then we'll get back to the nonsense and the foolishness. You take this, boom, put it out of here, put it in the cup, and it's still a little bulky because I had a lot in there. But it's easy for me, right? Fuck. You gotta drink it all straight down. If you don't drink it straight down, I'll show you, you know something? One day this week, I'll do it where I show you how to make the sea moss. Ain't no problem. I'll show you how to make the sea moss. All good. And that's how you do it. There. Let's see it. Now let's see if the Instagram works now. So that's how you do it. Simple. That's how I make my juice. I do it twice a day. Rock out with that, and it's done. Let me see here. It's still not working. You should stir Viagra in there too. Listen, when I'm ready to kill something, I'll do that. No problem. No problemo. Oh, let me see here. That color is nice. Cardio is important also. Yeah, I told you, I walk up a 2.5 mile hill, straight up, and not no fake ass walking, straight walking. So I'm about the shits. You have to gulp it. Ricky Ricks, you have to gulp it, because when you do that juice, the longer that juice is in the air, the more that it loses its power. So when you drink something out of the juice, you need to do it down immediately, so that it keeps all of the vitamins and minerals or whatever it has in it. You're gonna puke right about now, but you're the healthiest motherfucker. You got muscles upon muscles. You got a body like Adonis. You acting like you eat fucking pizza. Go sit down. I'm trying to fix it, because here's the thing. Once I do this, I have to save this, and when Black Honey comes on, I want everybody to see it. But for some reason, I told you, Instagram been acting up all day. I don't know what Instagram been doing. So here's what I'll do. I'll answer your questions for another 5 or 10 minutes. Then I'm going to call Black Honey Boutique. I'll get on the phone with her. We'll set up the date for tomorrow, because something's wrong with my Instagram. I'll call Instagram. Here's the thing. I'm going to turn off my live and come back in. But what's going to happen is you're going to lose 3/4 of the people. I want everybody to see what you're doing. With that being said, you want me to say the prayer to end the show? I'll say the prayer to end the show. And then what I'll do is get on the phone with Black Honey. I'll reset the day, because I don't want to cut off the live, and then instead of 200 people being on here, maybe 85 people are going to be on here. If we're going to do it, we're going to have it right. Period. Let me end it by saying this. Dear Lord, thank you for this Instagram live that we had tonight. It was some shit now, Lord. It was some shit. We found out that Ralph Tresvant could have knocked Janet Jackson down, but somebody cop blocked him. Now, I don't know, dear Lord, if you were behind that cop block. But in your righteous understanding and your omnipotence, if you were the one who said, hey, not happening, you don't want Ralph Tresvant to be the baby father of Janet Jackson, then maybe you put that man in position to cock block Ralph Tresvant. If that's the case, then you know something, Jesus, and I mean, you know something, Lord, your work will be done, and you put that man where you were supposed to be. If you did not do that, and that was just a freak of nature, dear Lord, may you strike that man down, because he took away that man's chance to have some of the best I want to say vaginal. You know what I'm talking about. Dear Lord, bless every one of these callers in here. Dear Lord, bless every one of these viewers in here. May they continue to be ignorant in their own ways, and may they come back tomorrow to see who's going to be on the show tomorrow. I thank you for everything that you have given me, every single person that is watching here, every single person that watches the rebroadcast, every single person who's a part of this show in any way. May you bless, protect us, and keep us safe. And as for Tiana Freeman, dear Lord, please help me to have the patience not to grab this and want to unwrap it and like that, because you see how fast you can unwrap it and make it something that can go to an ass, Jesus. And the Lord, please tell the Holy Ghost when I wrap it up to go like this to just knock it out my hand and just put me back in the place that I need to be so that I do not go to the young ass of Tiana Freeman. With that being said, I thank you for all your blessings that you have given me each and every day in each and every way, each and every day. In your name we pray, amen.